My beloved child, I need you to listen to me now. This moment is not insignificant. Your tears caused heaven to move, and I was aware of the suffering you were trying to conceal behind your pillow. I witnessed how, when everything inside of you was crumbling, you forced a grin. You didn't speak, but I could hear every syllable that was stuck in those silent tears. You might have thought that nobody saw you break, but I did. You tried to be strong, but I was closer than the breath you held. Never assume that I am aloof from your pain. The weight of everything you no longer knew how to carry made your chest rise and fall, and I witnessed it. I didn't wait for your question. I moved as soon as your heart muttered, "Help me." I started putting the necessary heavenly assistance into motion at that very moment. You need to realize this. My intervention started when it seemed like your hope was dying. Not all of that suffering was in vain. My throne was reached by a call that cut through the cacophony of the outside world. You repeatedly ask if I still see you. If you don't mind, here's your response. Yes, you were there. I heard you. Additionally, I'm answering right now rather than tomorrow or later. It was that silent moment of sorrow that sparked my heavenly plan to send reinforcements to your tired spirit. I need you to be vigilant because of this, kid. It is not your typical consolation that I am about to send. It is the instantaneous reaction of heaven to your concealed suffering. Instead of drowning your faith, the enemy believed those tears would cause me to burst into tears. The moment you finally acknowledged that you couldn't do it alone was the turning point that led to what is presently happening to you. You didn't have to use the appropriate terms. It took your suffering to get to me. Your anguish will no longer reverberate in the darkness, and I will not allow your plea to go unanswered. Assistance that only I could send is the answer to your plea. So stay alert, dear. It's closer than you might imagine. You no longer expect anyone to truly notice you because you've become so accustomed to being ignored. But I didn't ever look away from you. I was there every time you sat by yourself, certain that your presence didn't matter, examining every aspect of your heart and every nuance of your fight. I leaned closer to observe how your soul continued to press on when others went by, preoccupied or uninterested. Despite your fatigue, my eyes have followed you into the darkness you have traversed with deep affection rather than condemnation, even in the areas you believed were too unkempt or damaged to draw attention. I listened with the focus of a shepherd who is familiar with the names of his sheep. You believe that nobody took note of your work, the way you consistently showed up. When your own cup was empty, you continued to give. But I witnessed everything. To protect the peace, I was there every time you bit your tongue. Each time, you avoided controversy by remaining silent. Every time your own heart was burdened, you lifted up others. Every unspoken sacrifice, every silent submission, I captured it all in perpetuity on tape. I would also like you to know that I have never been blind to your existence, not for a moment. You are not only a member of the crowd, you are the object of my affection, my top priority, and my current focus. This is the reason I'm relocating. The assistance I'm sending isn't delayed because of this, because I saw what others did not see. I witnessed what you went through in silence. As the one who values you, I am replying. Child, you didn't have to earn my attention even when everyone else forgets. From the moment you breathed your first breath, your heart captured my heart. And I'm getting closer now when you're feeling weak and your hope seems far away. not as an aloof God, but as the closest thing you've ever encountered. I am enlarging what others overlooked. I'm repairing what others have overlooked. In ways you've yearned for but been unable to express, you will start to feel seen, recognized, and held by the aid I've sent to visit you. Your sincere gratitude is not just a gesture. This is a leap of faith, a seed that will transform your life. Assist people who are in need of hope by sharing my light. Get ready for my heavenly overflow by clicking the Super Thanks button. You can be heard in my realm without shouting. It only takes a hint of pain for me to take action. I'm sending someone who sees like me because they have spiritual discernment and know how to see your value when you no longer see it for yourself. They will not ignore you. They won't consider you a passing consideration. I've been whispering all along, and they're being sent to echo it. You're important. We've noticed you. We remember you. When they finally arrive, don't be shocked if something inside of you starts to come back to life, since being seen can bring back things that life has attempted to bury. Keep your heart open, kid. It's been a while since you were acknowledged. Currently, confirmation is being sent in human form by the eyes of heaven. Even when you remain silent, you are incredibly known, and that knowledge will be honored by this assistant I'm sending. Every second you believed nothing was going on. Behind the curtain, a precious thing was developing. As you cried, I wasn't motionless. I wasn't away when you paced the floor at midnight, asking questions that were too heavy to ask out loud. You took the silence for silence in the silence. I was coordinating actions that were too sacred to hasten, lining up what needed to come at the precise moment your heart could accept it. I did not merely witness your suffering. From it, I started to build a path. A doorway was being built with each delay. I was divinely precise in my responses to every ache. Even though you might not have realized it, I was setting up the timing, selecting the ships, and removing barriers you were unaware existed. You weren't being ignored. It was deliberate on my part. I was preparing a reaction that would completely change your upcoming season, not simply calm you down for a little while. This is not merely a message of consolation. It's a love-based technique. Your assistance does more than simply respond to your pleas. They are proof that I was working long before you inquired. And now, as they get closer, I want you to understand that this isn't all random. There is nothing coincidental about their appearance, their narrative, or their timing. Every action they took, every lesson they learned, and every delay they experienced was all required to shake them into the vessel you require right now. In the same way that I have been preparing you, I have been preparing them. You questioned my seeming distance, why it seemed like you were waiting forever. However, I was giving what appeared to be silence a layer of meaning, dear. I was careful not to send just anybody. I intended to send someone with fire gear, someone whose wounds are capable of holding yours without causing them to reopen. Furthermore, it requires time. It takes time to create anything sacred. When your depth required something timeless, I couldn't permit a superficial solution. I, therefore, toiled in the background, invisible, unrecognized, and unflinching. You asked me if I had forgotten, but I was placing provisional bricks and putting together a restoration tapestry so intricate you would be amazed. No was never the answer. I'm developing something worth waiting for, so it was never yet. And the moment has arrived. The preparation is finished. The one I have selected is on its way, and they bring with them the harvest of all your prayers and your requests together. Do not consider their arrival to be coincidental. Recognize it for what it is, the revelation of my secret work that you have been waiting for. They are not running late. My schedule aligns with theirs. You've been waiting for a long time, but finally, the wait is coming to an end. Make room for a giant, because the solution I've been formulating is prepared to confront the pain you've been bearing. And you will experience a sense of relief when they arrive, not simultaneously, but enough to regain breathing, enough to start over, enough to have faith again. The chilly silence in once jolly rooms, the loneliness you experienced, it all attempted to convey that you were abandoned and left to bear the burden of life alone, including the lack of familiar voices. But I want you to realize that impression was not your reality. It was an illusion. In my opinion, you've never been alone yourself. I've been close enough to hear every sigh and brace your feet when fatigue made them unsteady. My absence did not cause the pain you've been carrying. It was proof that you had been waiting for what I was going to give you. And now, what appeared to be quiet is turning into motion. What was formerly a sense of loneliness is now a divine meeting point. I'm not simply trying to be consoling. It is being sent to you in the form of a presence that is specific to your path. I have appointed this assistant to remind you that you were never wandering alone, not to come to your aid. Others left, but I stayed. I called the selected while the familiar receded. Someone I've personally chosen whose spirit speaks to the core of your being. Someone who will remain calm in the midst of your storms and not be fazed by them. You didn't require assistance from another individual. When your arms shook, you wanted someone to keep them there and remind you that you don't have to give up. I have therefore predestined this moment. Random comfort is not being tossed at you. Divine alignment is being used to pair you with someone. You will not feel compelled to be there. No sage will feel on it. When you finally release your breath after holding it for too long, it will feel like relaxation. I'm sending them to accompany you on your walk. The mending I'm bringing about isn't by a single miracle, but rather through everyday companionship, so it's neither ahead nor behind, but beside. You believe that you only needed one breakthrough. I'm consistently covering you. It won't be a seasonal helper. For the upcoming terrain, they are designated. The same terrain that once threatened to shatter you will now show you just how supported you are. It's the shift, my kid. Pretending to be strong is no longer necessary. When you are unraveling, you don't have to bear the burden of acting as though nothing is wrong. Your need is not being shamed by me. I'm meeting it with plenty. I'm not let down by your weakness. I'm replying with someone who understands how to sit through it with you without attempting to mend something I'm still recovering from. This relationship isn't real. You don't deserve it, and it's only momentary. The enemy will try to whisper. But now that I know the truth, I have silenced that untruth. Long before you ever screamed, I ordered this assistant. I made room in their hearts to bear your name before they were even aware of your existence. You're not weak, so they're not coming. Your value is the reason they are coming. You are too important to me to let you travel this journey unsupported by my outstretched hands. This isn't a sign of desertion. Acceleration is involved. I am bringing you into a new era by sending someone who will respect your narrative, not just understand it. You will notice a change once they arrive. They will make you feel like me. I'll be heard over them by you. I'll give you the experience I've always desired, the guarantee that you will never have to traverse the valley by yourself. Help is no longer a guarantee. It is moving towards standing next to you. There is more than just comfort or relief in store for you right now. There is deliverance mixed in. I have prepared someone who will not only listen to you or comfort your hurting heart, but also release the things that have been suppressed deep within you. They don't arrive with cliched encouragement or vacuous platitudes. They show up with the keys to doors you didn't even know were closed. Your prayers were heard long ago, but it takes accuracy to respond like this. For this reason, I went with someone who has experienced suffering without growing resentful. Someone who accepts my authority because they granted me permission to transform their wilderness into knowledge. They aren't simply showing up politely. They have power coming. My discernment-wrapped power wrapped in humility. You can't just walk with this person. A part of your upcoming season is inside of them. Strongholds will start to shake from their presence, their voice, and their allegiance. Internal conflicts that have festered in quiet will be resolved through divine connection rather than conflict. Sometimes the breakthrough they provide won't be immediately apparent. Like a change in the wind, it will arrive gradually, like the first breath after a smothering pressure. You'll know when it occurs, though. You'll know when the things that used to torment your mind start to fade, not because your life transformed in an instant, but because something sacred is suddenly standing with you in the midst of the unsolved. You will wake up feeling lighter. Don't undervalue what I've placed into the one I'm mailing. They were picked because they listen to me deeply, not because they are noisy. They don't follow their feelings. They follow my directions. For this reason, their presence will bring about change without any effort. You don't need to give them a long list of explanations. Additionally, they are arriving with wisdom that sees past your words. They won't take their eyes off you once they realize what has been concealed beneath them. For the simple reason that someone dared to appear on your behalf with the Spirit of God burning in their bones, chains will start to come loose. I wanted more than to reassure you. I desired your release, and for that reason, I was unable to send just anybody. When your faith ran out, I needed someone who would continue to fight in the Spirit, someone who wouldn't freak out when you stopped talking, someone who would stay when you stopped talking. Your brokenness does not terrify them. They were shaped for this very encounter and forged in fire. This person is not merely kind. This person has been assigned. When your heart was ready to receive a bit of your healing, they were destined to deliver it. And I promise you that they will upend the lies that have controlled you when they enter your life. You will start to loosen things that you thought were permanent. Your wounds that you believed would never heal will start to fade. They carry what triggers the miraculous, but they are not the marvel itself. Thus be mindful of the tranquility they provide. There will be hype. It will be sacred. You won't be overwhelmed by it. It will calm you down. When they talk, the environment itself will shift. Because of the person who sent them, not because of who they are. You beg for aid, my kid, and I'm giving it to you in more ways than one. I'm answering with heaven's plan for your freedom. Get ready to feel lighter. Get ready to think more clearly. Brace yourselves for illogical delight, because this breakthrough carrier and helper is on the way, and what has been stuck will start to move once they get there. I saw you take on more than your heart could ever handle on its own. I witnessed you waking up each day, ignoring the pain, and acting as though nothing was wrong while your soul was drowning in quiet. Although the world praised your power, I could see the hidden costs. I never meant for you to become a vessel for other people's suffering while yours was overlooked. You've spent so much time wearing the strong persona that you've lost the ability to ask for assistance. You forgot how to sleep. I've forgotten what it's like to receive comfort rather than constantly giving it away. However, I've made a distinction. I will no longer watch as the burden you bear causes you to become more twisted than you were intended to be. Even while the load you bear may not be obvious to others, it is screaming to me in my soul, and I am responding to it by taking action. I'm not requesting an explanation. I already get it. I won't wait for you to have the strength to get in touch. I'm taking over before you pass out. This assistant is on the way as a result. You've been faithful for a lot longer than anyone realized. Not because you're weak. It's time for your weariness to meet my steadfastness. This individual is not here to witness your suffering or offer commentary on your battle. They are being sent to help you breathe again, to share it, to relieve it. And they won't make you feel bad about seeking help, kid. They will respect the bravery it took to bear what you did for so long in quiet. They won't hasten your recovery. They won't demand justifications. They will just appear and start to remove the chains that have been weighing your soul down. You've become so accustomed to carrying emotional loads through your everyday activities that you've forgotten life wasn't supposed to feel like a daily struggle for survival. But that's over now. Your season will now be a cooperation instead of endurance. You shouldn't leave with your heart guarded and your fists clenched. You are destined to meet someone who assists you in letting go of things that you were never able to handle on your own. In the dark, you have lamented. In private, you have struggled. I'm bringing someone who can see you, though, the real you beneath it all, not your mask, your role, or your act. They won't flinch either. They won't feel sorry for you. With the extraordinary strength I've given them specifically for you, they will walk shoulder to shoulder with you. Take this opportunity to quit trying to please everyone. Let this be the moment when you understand that I don't always need a flaming bush or a parted sea to help you. My assistance can occasionally come in the shape of a voice that preaches peace without requiring clarification. When you unwind, the presence remains. You no longer need to hide. When you're broken, you don't have to act like everything is fine. Your ability to endure pain in silence doesn't amaze me. Your willingness to confide in me about your weakness moves me. Therefore, I'm answering right now rather than later or ultimately. You were never supposed to be strong alone. The purpose was to multiply it. And what you no longer need to drag will be carried by the person I am sending, until you regain the ability to walk light, that is. Help is no longer merely a wish. It's turning into your reality. Get your heart ready. Release your hold. Because you will learn in the future that hardships shared with others do not break you. Rather, they strengthen you. My moves have a timing that is incomprehensible. And you are standing right now in the exact spot I set up a long time ago. Know this when you feel like your power is waning, when your body seems weak, and when your thoughts seem to be heavier than your body. I'm not only conscious, I'm stepping in. The time at which pretending is no longer effective is drawing near. And for that reason, I'm putting someone close to you who is coming on purpose rather than by accident. They are not inadvertently entering your life. The mere air of my order has pulled them into your atmosphere. Others may falter at your vulnerable times, but this one will not run away. They have been ready to remain grounded, composed, and in the moment, rather than to worry when you shake. or to lecture when you shut down. This friend isn't seasonal. This isn't just a token endorsement. This individual has been supernaturally led by my spirit to the point where my greatest provision and your greatest need meet. They also don't have nothing. They possess knowledge honed by hardship, empathy developed via personal struggles, and fire-honed judgment. They are not merely there to speak. Their purpose is to provide presence, a presence that just lets you know you're not alone anymore, without pressuring, pushing, or demanding that you improve. In the middle of the chaos, this person will feel at ease. They will stay solid in the chaos, but they won't repair it. Your dirty moments and your spoken anxieties don't scare them. I have taught them to appreciate the holiness of someone who is still recovering and barely surviving. They won't need to pay attention to you. To earn their sympathy, you won't have to demonstrate your value. They're coming to treat your heart with reverence after I showed them via my eyes. If there are aspects of your adventure that words cannot describe, they won't ask you to describe them. Rather, they will pay attention to what your silence actually says. And in the process, you'll start to trust me, and not just them, again. Being vulnerable feels like danger since you've been protected for so long. But you won't be in danger from what I'm sending. Your security will be restored. Your spirit will see their opponent as an invitation rather than an intrusion, so you'll know it's me. I am sending someone who is capable of standing, but does not have all the answers. They won't try to hurry you forward or use sloppy hands to do spiritual surgery. They understand how to wait as I reconstruct, sitting with broken pieces. I picked them because I understood that you would need more than a passing acquaintance at this point in your life. A partner would have to be created in the waiting area while I was there. Someone who has turned their own tears into intercession. Someone who has learned how to walk with compassion and unwavering faith from their own history with me. You've needed someone like this to hold space for you, as well as to listen to you. And that time has now arrived. Things don't fall apart when you're at your weakest. It's where everything comes together. Because your Father's heart is reflected in the person I've put by your side. My assistance is more than just solutions. It is safe. It serves as a reminder that I could always reach you, even when you were at your weakest. You are also not without human hands now. Therefore, child, let your heart be open to the person I am sending, not just to anybody else. The one who is coming because I chose them for your road, not because they chose this one. You must realize that I did not select a typical person for this task. The one I'm sending wasn't chosen because of appearance, status, or appeal. They were picked because they allowed me to guide them through valleys they could have avoided, but decided not to. Through storms they didn't deserve, and through fires they didn't request. Even though it cost them everything, they stuck by me. They endured the agony in order to mold them into someone who can now carry healing with every word, every movement, and every breath. I allowed them to go through it. This individual doesn't deliver prefabricated sympathies or hollow promises. Without raising their voice, they burst bonds with their weight. Their wounds have turned into wells of wisdom. They are not ashamed of their scars. They are holy proof that everything that has been given to me is redeemed. And just as I've been working on you behind your back, I've been honing them in secret. Both of you have been preparing for this kind of moment. The meeting point of two lives, humbled and refined, not merely for friendship, but for the sake of the kingdom. They change the mood with their quiet presence. They won't come into your life in need of approval or acknowledgement. Nothing is being taken from you by them. They're going to flow into long, dry spots inside of you. This person has not only learned about pain, they have experienced it, endured it, and allowed it to teach them how to love unconditionally and sincerely. But they understand what it's like to hug someone who is falling apart without attempting to mend them. They understand what it's like to talk quietly when noise seems harmful. Because safety disarms defenses, their presence will start to undermine the inner walls you've constructed, not because they ask to. They will be by your side without hurrying your recovery. They will see your calling even if they are looking at your reality, since that is what happens when someone is sent rather than appointed. They're not here to further their own goal. To fulfill my purpose in you, they are coming. Your spirit will recognize it even if you don't. Before your mind comprehends it, the atmosphere will validate it. Don't undervalue their silent power. Just because they aren't ostentatious or aggressive doesn't mean you should ignore the sanctity they hold. They have become soft in the important ways and unbreakable in the protective aspects as a result of the fire they have experienced. When darkness speaks again, they will not back down. They will also remind you how to stand in addition to standing themselves. I've given them a discernment that looks past appearances. They will pick up on what you don't want to say, read what's not said, and still decide to stay. Tears don't make them wince. When the unvarnished truth is revealed, they don't run away. You weren't trained in a classroom. It was in the surrender crucible. They are now carrying that fire's oil, a non-stinging oil that will stream over your wounds, healing oil that doesn't require pressure. This is not a short-term solution. Someone who knows how to navigate the soul's landscape with grace and respect is the one I'm sending your way. You've met folks who responded negatively to your brokenness. They will, however, react to this one gracefully, with a presence that is like sunlight after a long period of gray. You'll know it's me and them that way. Though they won't be flawless, their words will be relevant. Your touch will calm your steps and bring about the mending you've been waiting for. But it won't erase your narrative. It will start with a link you can sense rather than a miracle you can explain. That is what occurs when I send someone who has been taught by fire to accompany you on your trip until you realize that you are never too far gone to be restored. What you let out in your personal suffering wasn't disregarded or postponed. I answered when your spirit fell into submission and the tears came unrestrained, desperate, and sacred. When my sweetheart is broken, heaven doesn't take long to act. Your sobbing was strong. It wasn't about us. Before your words could reach me, it did. That one instant of shaking turned into a holy signal, a call that caused heaven to act. You were not required to perform. You didn't require the appropriate prayer. You didn't even have to say anything out loud, because you talked in a language that only I completely understand, the language of tears, in that agonized quiet. And I didn't hesitate, child, and I want you to know that. I didn't consider if you were worthy of an answer. I know you did already. In order to liberate what has been suppressed, I have been waiting for your surrender. When it comes to divine help, time is crucial, not because I was punishing you. The wait is now over. What you believed to be distant has already passed through the door. The thing you believed you were pleading for has already been allocated and sent out. The assistance you believed you would have to suffer is not forthcoming. Entering your present is what it is. Additionally, this won't seem like a disruption. It will be familiar. It will feel as though something inside of you is finally being observed rather than examined, because I didn't simply send out help. To stay, I sent help. Furthermore, they are not intruding into your life. They're coming directly to you, as though drawn by an unseen force that my voice had triggered. They themselves don't fully get it. They just know that they have a burden on their hearts, a spiritual impulse to approach, talk to, and stand close to a stranger. I move like that. I put your name on someone else's spirit and send them forth when my children cry out in a pure voice, as assignments, not as strangers. They also don't arrive by themselves. The person who sent them is still present in them. They bring strength that surrounds rather than dominates, warmth that melts your frost, and clarity that pierces confusion. You have demanded proof that I hear you. This should be it. Allow this to be the realization of something you thought would never happen. You can already see the signs if you pay close attention, the sudden stirring of your emotions, the way some words seem to have more depth these days. Even though you can't explain it, you've been feeling that something is approaching. Anxiety is not that. That is the awakening of spiritual awareness. That's the changing atmosphere. The air is becoming heavy with grandeur because of that. I don't offer theoretical assistance. It is observable, measurable, and close. You've waited a long time, I know. I am aware that your optimism has faded. Now, though, I need your attention. It's because it's already happening, not because something might happen later. To get there, you don't need to struggle. It is attempting to touch you. Don't ignore them because you were expecting something different when it manifests as a human. Just because the thing you asked for doesn't come in the box you had in mind doesn't mean you should reject it. You assumed I would talk through thunder. However, my presence is a whisper, and my compassion is burning in a human heart. When heaven meets earth, I move like that, with indisputable grace, not with drama, and I can assure you that the assistance I sent is already accessible. Allow this message to awaken your soul, because I was already moving while you were waiting. The movement has now arrived at your door. There's no need to look for it. Simply remain motionless and let it find you. Because heaven doesn't miss its mark when it sends assistance in answer to your tears. And you've always been that target, kid. Above their head, there won't be any blinking signs. When they open their mouth, there's a silence that permeates the room instead of a dramatic exhibition that announces their arrival. I didn't adorn this assistant with worldly prestige or mark them with bodily magnificence. I dressed them up in something much better, the power of tranquility, which can only be given via closeness to me and cannot be created. Additionally, you won't be enthralled with what they have to say when they start talking. They will captivate you with the silence they instill in your spirit. It will seem as though your mental turmoil has found a seat all of a sudden. The terror that has been yelling inside your chest will subside. Everything inside of you senses a familiar resonance, not because everything around you changes. Through them, I'm communicating. I train their voice to convey clarity rather than dominance. It will exert pressure. It will calm down. It will be too much. It will heal. Titles and certificates won't reflect the weight they carry. For the first time in weeks, you'll notice a drop in your shoulders. Your spirit, not your sight, will be able to identify them. In a world that has been frigid, they will feel at home. Additionally, even though they won't talk much when they do, it will seem reassuring and ancient, like something you forgot you were missing. The air around them will bear witness to my proximity. Their presence will have a cadence that teaches you how to breathe again without hurrying you. Peace doesn't lie, so you won't need to second guess it, and they won't attempt to manipulate your process. Therefore, you'll know it's not manipulation. They'll just create space for it. The adversary has attempted to teach you to react solely to loudness, drama, and intensity. I rarely have a loud voice, though. It settles the trembling inside of you like a whisper, and I've given this assistant the same whisper. You don't need to be persuaded. The evidence is with them. They will have tenderness in their eyes. It will feel like trust when they touch you, and they will have divine timing. Don't search for the exceptional and miss it. Don't write them off just because they don't look like the kind of assistants you had in mind. I'm not influenced by appearance. Their essence will coincide with what you've been pleading for in the hidden location since I work through essence. You won't feel scrutinized, and it will feel like someone is finally looking past your performance. You'll have a sense of acceptance. You'll know that way because perfection isn't the source of true peace. It originates from being there. And the person I am sending walks while I am laying like a mantle on them. They've survived fire without losing their scent. They've been squeezed without being resentful. They are now approaching you because they want to walk with you rather than to save you. That's the distinction. You came across folks who sought to make you feel important. This serves as a reminder that you were never hopelessly broken, and they will accomplish this with quiet words and reverent pauses rather than with ostentatious motions. They'll be aware of when to talk, and also, more crucially, when not to, because I've taught them that answers don't always lead to peace. When the world becomes too loud, it can be found in someone who just stays. Therefore, don't doubt it when they talk and you feel something leave your body. So I planned it that way, since the tranquility they convey is mine, not theirs. And I'm sending them so that a person who knows how to convey the sound of heaven without ever raising their voice might finally hear me again. I am aware that you have preconceived notions about how, what, and who assistance should look like when it comes. In order to create place for the form I'm actually delivering, I kindly but urgently ask that you remove the picture you painted. Your presumptions will be confirmed by the on-way assistant. They might not talk as you're used to. They may not possess the qualities you expected in a person. Rather than making a big splash, they can enter discreetly, and if you're not attentive, you might measure the miracle by the wrong criteria and miss it. I'm alerting you in advance because of this. Don't allow familiarity to prevent you from seeing divinity. When I move, I frequently do it in ways that defy human expectations. In a manger, I concealed my grandeur, gave fishermen authority, poured healing into damaged vessels. Do you think my movements will change now? I'm sending you assistance that doesn't appear like what you had in mind. For what you require is not surface level. You require something more profound, something holy, something that talks to the soul directly and avoids the mind. This individual will not present things in a polished or flawless manner. Even while individuals may have their own history, flaws, and tale, their inner selves were created via obedience rather than outward appearances. They didn't establish their strength on a stage. It began in silence, in seclusion, and in submission. They know how to kneel before me before they ever try to stand alongside someone else, which is why I trust them with your healing. They are yielding, which is why I chose them rather than their impressiveness. And you're in need of that now. Someone modest enough to walk alongside you in respect for your process, yet not a hero. You will miss out on what I have already prepared if you allow your presumptions to guide you. You will reject the very assistance I appointed to catch you before you fall again if you make snap judgments. Even if my movements surprise you, I want you to be receptive to me and not to everything, open to anybody I send, even if they show up without any qualifications or charisma. I'm providing the sign you requested in human form. The obvious won't cover it, though. It will manifest as kindness, gentleness, perseverance, and the way they don't wince. Something inside of you will soften when your honesty comes out, and they don't shrink away when your wounds show in discussion. You'll know it's me. Your opposition will be fear rather than rebellion, despite your mind's best efforts to remain vigilant. Now, though, I'm reminding you to overcome that fear. I can see what you need better than you can. I also avoid sending strangers. I respond. Impressive people are not necessary. Someone has to be there. There's no need for fancy words. You require real love. It could be the same thing I've been building for you in the background all this time. So if the help I give doesn't fit your vision, stop before you leave. Often miracles appear simple at first. Grace frequently appears strange until you allow it to get close enough to reveal its face, and healing frequently arrives subtly. I'm not requesting that you give up all discernment. I want you to approach it in a new way, to listen with your spirit as well as your ears, because that helper is carrying the precise piece of your soul that has been missing, something no one else could. Don't fight against things that don't seem like your past. I am already at your door with something new that I am doing. My spirit will already be communicating with you in the deepest areas that words cannot penetrate before your logic catches up and your ideas attempt to understand or explain. Despite the fact that you have never met them before, you will sense a familiarity. It's a recognition rather than a memory. I move in ways that transcend cognition, so it's not a detailed knowing. I start by talking to the spirit, where your heart can hear things your head cannot. This is how you'll know that this individual is appointed and not just a good listener. They won't even say anything before my spirit starts to stir within you. It will arrive as soft alignment rather than screaming assurance. Your presence will fit like something that was always meant to be there and has finally arrived, rather than like a puzzle piece that has been pushed into place. Just because it's silent doesn't mean you should doubt it. Peace, not performance, is how I educate you to discern. I'm not going to send someone to impress you. Someone is being sent to anchor you. And before your reasoning can explain it, your spirit will realize that. You won't be able to describe this to them in a sentence. You'll know just the right words to explain it. But you'll know in your heart. Before they prove themselves, you'll feel secure. Even before you finish speaking, you'll feel heard. My spirit uses resonance rather than pressure to communicate in this way, and I will silence your mind long enough for your spirit to speak plainly, even if it tries to overanalyze. You could initially doubt yourself. You could pause, wondering if it's genuine. But have faith in what I have created within you. I have trained your heart to listen to me. You may believe the silence that arises when something is from me, even if you might not always trust your feelings. And when they enter the room, that silence will greet you. Take your time explaining it. Avoid drowning it out by searching for defects. What's taking place is sacred. I'm letting you know that what's coming isn't a coincidence. I'll make indications show up in ways that only you will see. Something you said to me in private will be echoed in a sentence they utter. You'll recognize a tone in their voice from when I talked to you while you were breaking. They will be able to comprehend a portion of your experience without you having to peel back the layers. It's not that they have psychic abilities. The reason for this is that I have prepared them by providing them with my own insight. Your heart will testify at that very instant. This one has been dispatched to accompany you on your walk. Don't wait for acceptance from others. Do not wait for complete clarity. I provide more than just surface-level validation. I move in sacred matters in this way. I give spiritual alignment, and it will come into place so subtly that it might not even feel supernatural at first. I won't yell over your mayhem. I'll talk underneath it. I won't use drama to prove anything. I'll use peace to prove them. Even when your habits attempt to strengthen your defenses, you'll be able to tell because they will weaken. You won't even be aware that you've stopped planning for disappointment, so we'll know. My spirit is testifying in that way, and allow it to occur when it does. If you also want help me to spreading God's message to the whole world, then please subscribe my channel and share this video his family and friends. In Jesus' name, amen.